All right, so strap yourselves in, folks. Today we're taking a deep dive into a Greyhawk story that took a bit of an unexpected turn.
Yeah, a path not quite taken, you could say. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Exactly. It's Howl from the North time, the second module in what was supposed to be a trilogy.
Planned trilogies, best laid plans, and all that. Things don't always go as expected in Greyhawk or in publishing.
True that. As it happened, only 2 modules ever saw the light of day.
And that third adventure, well, it morphed into something bigger, much bigger.
Yeah.
The Greyhawk Wars boxed set.
Which, by the way, we already explored in a previous deep dive, so if you're craving some epic war stories, be sure to check that one out. But today, we're all about Howl from the North. You can find the PDF link in the video description, so feel free to follow along.
Always good to have the source material handy.
Absolutely. And hey, while you're down there, why not hit that like button, subscribe, and give that notification bell a good ring? We love seeing those numbers climb.
And don't be shy about leaving a comment. We're always eager to hear your thoughts and theories.
So let's set the scene. Howl from the North picks up where 5 shall be won left off. Remember, our heroes were tasked with finding the 5 Blades of Corusk.
Ah, yes, the legendary blades, each with its own unique power and history.
But their quest hit a bit of a snag, didn't it?
It did. They only managed to recover 3 of the 5. Dreamsinger, Greenswave, and Stalker.
3 blades down, 2 to go. But these blades, they're not just powerful artifacts.
No, they come with their own baggage. A whole lot of baggage, actually.
Speaking of baggage, depending on how 5 shall be won wrapped up, our heroes might be nursing some wounds, maybe even some stat penalties from a certain teleport mishap.
Ouch! Teleport mishaps are never fun, unless you're into unexpected side effects, of course, which, let's face it, some players are.
Or they could be starting fresh, in the relative safety of Rookroost. Either way, they've got a long and perilous journey ahead of them.
A frozen journey, to be precise, their destination. The city of Kelten, nestled in the heart of the frozen north.
Kelten. It's not exactly a tropical paradise, is it?
Not unless you're a fan of sub-zero temperatures, limited sunlight, and inflated prices for essential goods. But hey, who needs sunshine when you've got adventure?
Right. And speaking of adventure, this isn't just a simple go here, find this kind of quest.
Oh no, not at all. It's far more intricate than that. Our heroes are stumbling into a much larger conflict. A brewing war between the barbarian nations, the Great Kingdom, and the Hold of Stonefist.
And everyone seems to be obsessed with these Blades of Corusk. Why? What makes them so special?
Because the stakes are incredibly high. The barbarian nations, they're desperate. They see these blades and the prophecy of the great god as their only hope for survival.
So our heroes aren't just treasure hunters, they're potential saviors. Wow, talk about pressure.
Precisely. They're caught in a web of political intrigue, ancient prophecies, and a whole lot of frozen wilderness.
Sounds like a recipe for an epic adventure. But let's be honest, the journey to Kelten is probably going to be more than just scenic vistas and friendly encounters right now.
You got that right. Howl from the North throws some pretty memorable challenges at our heroes.
For instance?
Well, let's start with the mounted bandits.
Ooh, bandits. It sounds like a classic encounter. What do they want?
They claim the Blades of Corusk belong to them, of course. Well, to be more precise, they claim they belong to the bandit kingdoms. Typical bandit logic, right?
Seems pretty straightforward. Are they just in it for the loot?
But there's a twist. These bandits aren't exactly who they claim to be. They're actually scouts for the Great Kingdom, sent to gather intel on the barbarian nations.
Spies. I knew it! Nothing is ever simple in Greyhawk, is it? So they're not after the blades themselves.
Not directly. They're more interested in assessing the barbarians' progress in finding the blades and awakening the great god. Knowledge is power, after all.
Okay, that makes sense. But it also means that our players can't take anything at face value.
Exactly. They need to be constantly on their guard, questioning motives and looking for hidden agendas. A healthy dose of paranoia never hurts in Greyhawk.
True that. So we've got these Great Kingdom spies, disguised as bandits. But those can't be the only threats lurking on the road to Kelten.
Oh, we're just getting started. Remember those orcs we mentioned earlier? The ones who might have been involved in that teleport mishap at the start?
The ones with a potential grudge? Yeah, what about them?
They haven't exactly forgotten about that stolen blade. They're determined to get Stalker back, and their motivation goes beyond just reclaiming what they believe is rightfully theirs.
What else is fueling their anger?
Fear. They see the barbarian nations uniting, growing stronger, and they're terrified of a potential alliance between the barbarians and the theocracy of the Pale.
Ah, I see. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Oh,
or at least not someone you want to see gain more power.
yeah.
So they're trying to stop the barbarians from finding all 5 blades.
Exactly. It's all about preventing a potential threat, even if it means siding with those who stole from you in the first place.
It's like a twisted game of alliances and betrayals. But wait, there's more, isn't there?
Of course. Just when you think things couldn't get more complicated, our heroes run into a scout from Ratic.
Ratic. Now, those guys have their own ambitions, don't they? What are they doing meddling in all of this?
Well, Ratic has its sights set on some prime real estate, the North Province.
Conquest. Typical Ratic.
Yeah.
But how do the Blades of Corusk factor into their plans?
They see this whole situation, this quest for the blades and the prophecy of the great god, as a chance to exploit weaknesses and advance their own agenda.
So everyone is trying to use this quest for their own purposes. It's like our heroes are pawns in a much larger game.
You got it. And that's what makes this module so captivating. Even seemingly minor encounters, like a chance meet-in with a scout, can have major consequences down the line.
It's all connected. But hey, despite all these distractions and dangers, our heroes eventually reach their destination, Kelten.
A city unlike any other.
Yeah, I bet. So what's it like? What kind of challenges await them in this frozen metropolis?
Well, for starters, they're going to have to deal with a language barrier. The locals primarily speak Cold Tongue.
Cold tongue. Sounds chilly. So how do they communicate? Charades, wild gestures.
That might work for basic needs, but if they want to gather information, negotiate, or blend in with the locals, they're going to need more than just hand signals. They'll need to rely on diplomacy, role-playing, and perhaps a bit of creative interpretation.
This is like a fun challenge for those role-playing enthusiasts out there. But they're not just sightseeing in Kelten, are they?
Nope. They have a specific individual they need to track down.
Who are they looking for?
Kabluna Starskull, a barbarian chieftain who possesses the 4th blade, the Edge.
Kabluna Starskull. The name itself sounds intriguing. What can you tell us about this fella?
Well, he's a bit of an enigma, shrouded in rumors and whispers. Some say he has unusual white features for a barbarian. Others claim he's touched, implying some kind of divine encounter.
Touched. That definitely adds a layer of mystery. And what about this 4th blade, the Edge? Is it as intimidating as its name suggests?
Oh, without a doubt. And it seems to have had quite an effect on Kabluna and his tribe. Rumor has it they've formed a new tribe that worships the Edge as some kind of sacred relic.
Worshipping a blade. Okay, that's a little creepy, but also very interesting. I bet finding him and convincing him to part with the Edge is going to be its own challenge.
Oh, absolutely. But before they even get close to Kabluna's encampment, they've got a more pressing problem to deal with.
What do you mean?
Remember the hold of Stonefist?
The ones who are terrified of the barbarians uniting under the great god.
Yeah, what about them?
They're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're actively trying to stop our heroes.
Yeah.
And they've got some powerful allies.
Allies? Like who?
The Rovers of the Barrens.
Whoa! 2 powerful factions working against them. That's not good.
It certainly complicates matters.
It's like our heroes are constantly being pulled in different directions. They're trying to find the blades, but they're also having to navigate these complex political tensions and deal with threats from all sides. It's a testament to the module's ability to create a truly dynamic and challenging experience. The players never know who to trust or where the next danger is coming from.
Talk about keeping them on their toes. But hey, amidst all this chaos, they still manage to make some progress, right?
Oh, they do. They push forward, driven by their quest and the fate of the barbarian nations.
And then they stumble upon something that truly highlights the gravity of the situation, right?
You're talking about the remains of a barbarian caravan, aren't you? The one destroyed by the theocracy of the Pale.
That's the one. It's a stark reminder that the theocracy is not messing around. They're willing to use any means necessary to prevent the prophecy from coming true.
No kidding. And that sense of urgency is further emphasized when they encounter a messenger from the newly formed Barbarian Trinity Council.
Trinity Council, that sounds important. What's their deal?
It's a council formed by the leaders of the 3 largest barbarian tribes, the Ice, Snow, and Frost barbarians. They're trying to unite their people, prepare for the coming war.
So what does this messenger want with our heroes?
He urges them to hurry. He tells them that the barbarian nation's last hope lies in finding the remaining blades and awakening the great god. They're putting all their faith in the players.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure to put on a group of adventurers.
It is, but it also highlights how desperate the situation is.
And just when you think things can't get any more intense, they run into one of the most memorable encounters in the module. the Orc Brigade.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. A real test of tactical skill and quick thinking.
Set the scene for us. What happens?
Picture this. Our heroes are traveling across a vast expanse of frozen wilderness, the wind whipping snow into their faces.
Bleak but beautiful, I imagine.
Exactly. But beauty can be deceiving, especially in Greyhawk. They come across this seemingly endless field of ice, glittering under a pale sun.
Sounds peaceful enough. What's the catch?
It's a trap, a carefully orchestrated ambush set by a brigade of orcs, and they've got some heavy hitters on their side.
Like who?
Ogre Magi. They use their magic to create this massive ice field designed to slow the players down.
While the orcs surround them. Classic pincer move.
Exactly. The players are caught in a frozen death trap. They need to think fast, use their skills strategically, and maybe get a little creative if they want to survive this encounter.
Sounds like a battle that will test their mettle.
It is. But even if they manage to overcome this icy challenge, they're in for a more subtle and perhaps even more perplexing experience.
What do you mean?
Dreamsinger's Fugue. One of the blades starts talking, but not in the way you might expect.
Hold on. A talking blade.
Well, not exactly talking. It communicates through dreams and visions.
Dreams? That's both cool and creepy. What kind of dreams are we talking about?
Cryptic ones. Ones that hint at the location of the fifth and final blade, Harmonizer. But the clues are hidden within these dreamlike visions. The player wielding Dreamsinger needs to decipher them.
So it's not just about brute force and combat tactics. It's about interpretation, intuition, maybe even a little bit of dream analysis.
Exactly. It adds a whole new layer of challenge to the quest.
And I bet the closer they get to Harmonizer, the more intense things become, right?
Absolutely. The pull of the edge intensifies, driving the one who wields it forward with an almost uncontrollable urgency. They hear the distant sounds of armies on the move, a constant reminder that time is running out.
Talk about pressure.
And then, in a moment of both clarity and confusion, the edge points towards a seemingly ordinary rock.
A rock. That's where Harmonizer is hidden.
It's a brilliant twist. The true nature of Harmonizer is concealed, masked by powerful magic. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving and that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight.
This is getting good. But if Harmonizer is hidden, how do they even know it's there?
That's where the story takes another fascinating turn. Because just as our heroes are trying to figure out their next move, the Kabluna tribe arrives.
Wait a minute, the Kabluna tribe? The ones led by Kabluna Starskull, the guy with the edge. Weren't they initially hostile towards our heroes?
They were. But it seems they've had a change of heart. They've come to recognize the player's crucial role in potentially uniting the barbarian people and saving them from annihilation.
So they're switching sides? What prompted this sudden shift in allegiance?
The looming threat of war with the hold of Stonefist, for one thing. They're starting to realize that they're all in this together. The barbarians need to unite if they want to survive.
It's like the old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Or at least a potential ally.
Exactly. But this newfound alliance is about to be put to the test. Because just as the Kabluna tribe arrives, so do the armies of the Hold of Stonefist and the rovers of the Barrens.
Whoa, talk about a dramatic entrance. It's like everyone decided to show up for the final showdown at the same time.
And that, my friends, is where we'll leave things for now.
Welcome back, Deep Divers. When we left off, our heroes were in a bit of a predicament, wouldn't you say?
To say the least. Surrounded by two armies, a mysterious rock, and the fate of the barbarian nations hanging in the balance, talk about a cliffhanger. It's a masterfully crafted scenario, that's for sure. The players are forced to make some tough choices. Surrender the blades. Fight against overwhelming odds.
Yeah, not exactly a win-win situation. But before we get to the epic showdown, we need to address the elephant, or rather the rock, in the room.
Ah, yes, Harmonizer. Still tucked away in its magical disguise.
So how do they even go about retrieving it? I mean, it's not like they can just crack it open with a sword, right?
Not quite. Brute force isn't going to cut it, so to speak. This requires a more subtle approach. The module suggests using divination spells to reveal its true nature.
Divination spells, huh? Makes sense. Something like detect magic would probably make that rock light up like a Christmas tree.
Exactly. It would confirm the presence of powerful magic, a hidden object, maybe even hint at what that object is.
Okay, so they've got this magical rock. They know something's hidden inside. Now what?
Well, they need to dispel the magic that's concealing Harmonizer's true form. It's like peeling back layers of an illusion.
Ooh, that's a cool way to think about it. So what happens when they finally cast that dispel magic spell? Does the rock just vanish?
Not quite. It undergoes a transformation. It shifts, cracks, and eventually reveals a locked wooden case.
A treasure chest. Classic. But of course, there's a catch.
Always a catch. The lock on this case, it's not your everyday lock. It's designed to test those who seek to open it.
So more than just lockpicking skills are needed here.
Exactly. It's a symbolic obstacle representing the challenges of unlocking Harmonizer's true potential.
So how do they get it open?
The module provides several options, allowing for player creativity and flexibility.
I like that. It's not just a one right answer kind of puzzle, so they could try to pick the lock, bash it open, or even use magic to bypass it.
You got it. But let's assume they succeed. They open the case, and there it is. Harmonizer, the fifth blade. Quest complete, right?
You'd think so. But something tells me it's not going to be that easy.
You're right. Harmonizer is unique. It's not just a weapon. It's a symbol of unity, a force that tests those who seek to wield it.
The test. What kind of test are we talking about?
Imagine this. A player touches Harmonizer, and suddenly, bam! Exact replicas of each player character appear out of thin air.
Whoa, clones! So they have to fight themselves.
Precisely. It's a battle against their duplicates, a test of skill, strategy, and maybe even a little bit of self-reflection.
Wow. It's like facing your own inner demons. Talk about a psychological challenge.
Exactly. And the outcome, it's not just about winning or losing, it's about proving their worthiness to wield Harmonizer, to embrace the ideals it represents.
This whole concept of a blade that tests its wielders is pretty cool. It adds another layer of meaning to the quest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this theme of unity, it's woven throughout the entire module. Remember, the barbarian nations are fragmented, divided. They're constantly at odds with each other.
Right. And finding the Blades of Corusk, awakening the great god, it's all supposed to unite them.
Exactly. So this test, it's a microcosm of the larger challenge facing the barbarian people.
They need to overcome their internal divisions if they want to face the external threats.
You got it. But let's say they pass the test, they conquer their duplicates, they're standing there with all 5 Blades of Corusk. What's the next step?
Well, I assume they need to figure out how to awaken the great god. I mean, having the blades is one thing, but how do you actually use them to summon a god?
That's where Kelten comes in. Remember him. The mage who joined the party back in 5 shall be one.
Right. He's been a bit quiet up until this point.
Indeed. But now his expertise is crucial. He realizes that the 5 blades, when arranged in a specific order, reveal something extraordinary.
What do you mean?
Hidden runes. An ancient inscription.
Like a secret code.
Exactly. And these runes, they contain the awakening spell, the key to summoning the great god.
Wow. Talk about a hidden treasure. I bet that's a pretty exciting moment for the players. They finally have all the pieces of the puzzle.
It is a culmination of their efforts, their perseverance. But remember, they're still in a very precarious situation. 2 armies are still watching them very closely.
Right. And I doubt the Hold of Stonefist and the Rovers of the Barrens are just going to stand back and applaud while they summon a god.
Not a chance. But let's imagine just for a moment that they do begin the ritual. They arrange the blades, they chant the ancient words.
Okay, I'm picturing this. The wind is howling, snow is swirling around them, the blades are glowing with an eerie light.
The air crackles with magical energy, the ground begins to tremble, and then a blinding flash of light splits the sky. It's like a beacon in the frozen wasteland.
Wow, that's got to be him, right? The great god.
It is. As the light fades, there he stands, a towering barbarian giant, 12 feet tall, flanked by 2 massive wolves with eyes like burning coals.
Talk about an entrance. So what happens? Do the armies charge?
Well, everyone's stunned, obviously. But here's the thing. The great god, he's surprisingly chill.
Chill, for a god who is just ripped from his slumber.
Yeah, seriously. He thanks the players for waking him up and even offers to grant them a wish.
A wish? Anything they want.
Pretty much. It could be powerful magic items, increased abilities, you name it. It's a chance to really change the game.
Wow. But there's a catch, right? Didn't he mention something about destiny?
He did. He makes it clear that he won't alter the destined path of events.
So, no asking him to wipe out the armies or create world peace.
Probably not. He's all about free will and balance, remember?
Right. So the players can't just wish away all their problems. But they can still ask for things that will help them in the coming war.
Absolutely. They can negotiate, strategize, use their wish wisely. And let's not forget, they probably have a million questions for the great god.
Yeah. Like, what's the deal with these blades? What happened to them after they summoned him?
The great god would probably say they served their purpose. Their magic helped awaken him, and now their task is complete.
So they just poof, disappear.
Something like that. Their essence returns to the world. Kind of poetic, actually.
And what about that unfinished spell? Why did he appear before they even finished chanting?
Well, this is where things get a little funny.
Funny. How so?
The great god. He might just reveal that those extra verses, the ones they didn't chant, they were purely for aesthetics.
Wait, seriously? All that effort, all that danger, and the missing part of the spell was just for decoration?
Yep. He might even say it was a testament to the ancient barbarians' love of artistry.
Oh man, I can imagine the players' faces. But jokes aside, I bet their most pressing question would be, can you help us stop these armies?
Logical question. But the great god's response is intriguing, to say the least.
What does he say?
He basically says that everyone has the right to exist, the right to wage war if they choose.
So he's not going to intervene. Just let them fight it out.
He believes in a natural order. Conflict is part of that.
Wow, that's a pretty hands-off approach for a god.
It is. But it also emphasizes the themes of free will and choice in this module. The players, they're not puppets. They have the power to influence the outcome, even if it means facing overwhelming odds.
So the players can't rely on the great god to solve all their problems. They have to use their wits, their skills, and whatever boon they received to navigate this coming war.
Exactly, and that's what makes this module so compelling. It sets up the epic Greyhawk Wars without dictating the outcome. It gives the players agency.
Okay, so what happens next? The great god just marches off to war with the barbarian nations.
Not quite. He gestures towards the northeast, and a smile spreads across his face.
What does he see?
The armies of the ice barbarians, followed by the snow and frost barbarian tribe.
The barbarians, they're uniting.
Yes. The prophecy is coming true. The once fragmented tribes are coming together under the banner of the great god.
Now that's what I call a sight to behold.
It is. The module actually ends with those words. It is begun.
And that's where the Greyhawk Wars boxed set picks up, right? The story continues.
Exactly. We get to see how this war, this clash of nations unfolds. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
This deep dive has been incredible. Blades, prophecies, political intrigue, a resurrected god.
And a war that's about to engulf the Flannis. It's a reminder that even seemingly simple quests can have world-altering consequences.
Absolutely. And we want to hear your thoughts. Did you ever play through Howl from the North? What were your favorite moments?
Share your stories, your theories, your experiences in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more epic adventures.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.